Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, where you may be. It's Tom Sidney Bushnell here, aka Numbers. Welcome to Psych Club and the Tom Numbers Show. And I've got the magnificent Rachel Writeside Blonde, my TV breakfast time show host, with me. And we've got the fantastic Dr. Charlie Ward. Charlie, how are you, buddy? It's been a while. How you been, man?
Yeah, it has. I'm quite glad to be home now after 6 weeks away. It's started with being away in Barbados and then coming back to Europe and dropping my wife off and then heading back to New York to speak there, and then heading down to Bulgaria for 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm glad to be home. I'm one of those, my wife loves her holidays, bless her, but I'm quite happy just here, just getting on with my stuff, because we live down here in southern Spain where we get probably the most perfect climate of anywhere in the world. We get 300 days a year of sunshine. It's 37 degrees today. It's a beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. They haven't managed to do any of the chemtrailing over the last 48 hours, which is always nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's very interesting, just on that one thing, that the Spanish government have been asked about chemtrails, and they said, yeah, no, we're doing the chemtrails. They've openly admitted it. So when they asked them what's in it, they said, oh, I don't know. The United Nations have told us to do it. They've given us the stuff, but we don't know what's in it. And you think about that, and you think, you know, when people are stood in front of a judge, ignorance is no defense. And these people are going to have to stand up and go, we've basically committed genocide, and we did it willingly, without asking any questions. So it's now in the main news in Spain, where they've openly admitted doing chemtrails,
right,
and not knowing what's in it. They've just been told to do it by the United Nations, and they've done it.
There you go.
Basically 1930s and 40s all over again.
Exactly. We learn nothing.
Just take orders, do orders, and don't ask questions.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they haven't done it for the last couple of days, so it's quite nice.
What do you think on the UK with Liz Truss, Charlie? So I've got some interesting numbers on that for her. So as with a lot of this, we know that there's been naughty players and they're kind of doing the white hats bidding. So her numbers come up to 144, which comes up to Digital Soldier, and you've got 144,000. And some people say that's a frequency, some people say that's a group of people. But it seems to me that she's been put in the position, because one of the headlines, it said something along the lines of, we'll weather the storm, or we'll get through the storm. And I was like, you know, it's right in your face. So she suddenly popped out of nowhere, swapped in for Solaris, doing her thing. But if you look at her background, it looks like, yeah, just as murky as everyone else. But it looks to me like, whether that's her or her new one, it seems to be that she'll be doing deliberate actions on behalf of the White Hats. That's my initial take on it.
Look, it takes you 2 minutes to find out that she was a good friend of Jimmy Savile. And she openly tweeted about the fact that she was going out and meeting him for coffees, etc. Having said that, you don't have to dig too deep to realize that Charlie Ward wasn't the best behaved youngster. And we've all made our mistakes, and that's probably why God has chosen us now. Because the good boys let him down. So he's gone back to the naughty boys and said, you owe me. Get off your backsides and put it right. And that's what we're doing. The Digital Soldiers, Mike Lindell, another one. Scott McKay, another one. Plenty of guys out there that were naughty, who've turned their lives around and decided to fight for God instead. Let's hope with Liz Truss that she's going to do exactly the same. All we can do is pray about that, because we don't know what's going on in her head. We do know that she was part of the World Economic Forum. We do know that she was under their control. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? The wonderful thing is, in life, the truth always comes out. And we just have to wait for it. Because 2 years ago, I was a conspiracy theorist, Tom.
Yeah.
It's all come true now, so I'm a bit lost. I've got no more conspiracies left. I have. I've got a couple left, yeah.
Yeah.
John
What a long time ago, back on the beach, when you'd walk along the beach.
Yeah.
And then you did the show with Jack, and
yeah.
And then not long after that, I came on with you, and the rest has been history for all of us. And it's amazing, isn't it? When we're back 2020, what a year, what a great year, really, in so many ways.
It was. It's the whole journey's been lovely. You know, I look back to when I met Rachel for the first time in real life.
Yeah.
When, you know, it's one thing to talk to people on the screen. It's another people to meet them. And
yeah.
It's been an absolute blessing to meet every single one on this journey. And it's quite I don't want to be rude, but it's a motley crew of completely different people. Not like
Tommy Lee Jones.
Not exactly, but there's exactly right, but there's a really random group of people.
Yeah.
And you suddenly get to know these people, none more so than Gene Ho.
Yeah,
Wonderful
Gene, brilliant.
Man.
Mr. George, yeah.
Mr. George. Wonderful, wonderful man. General Michael Flynn, Clay Clark, Scott McKay, Mike Lindell, Anna Kate. And there's so many great people out there that we've had the privilege, the Smith brothers, the two lads out there, Titus and is Ishmael and Titus, the two guys, they're just brilliant. But there's so many great people out there, and we're all different. We're not like the conventional look of the television, the mainstream, where they're all very pretty and all, you know. Apart from Rachel, she's the only super pretty one. But
thanks, Charlie.
We're allowed to have one. We're allowed to have one.
Well, it helps, doesn't it? It does. Help, you know, it does help. So
I like the word ragtag.
What's ragtag?
It just means like we're just a bunch of we're a mixed bag of people.
Yeah.
And we all have different personalities. We all have different specialties and interests, but we all bring something to the table that is necessary to solving this big puzzle.
Yeah.
And we help bring in different groups of people, different strata of people, and then, you know, because you go around, you'll know this, Charlie, when you go on tour and you speak, people come up to you and thank you and how much has changed, and then they'll talk to someone else and say something similar, because they've got kind of, you know, their staple of people that they resonate with, and we've all helped people over that line, you know.
I can speak from experience that people in Virginia Beach absolutely love Charlie. I was walking behind him and people were just like, Charlie. It was my first taste of someone being a celebrity and being like grabbed and wanting pictures and stuff. So that's a testament to you, Charlie, that people love you, especially in the States.
It's very humbling, but it's also, at this moment in time, I think it's important to point out that there is a number of different tours that are going on in America, and every single one has an equal importance. There are certain people, oh, my tour's better than your tour's better. That's complete garbage. We're all needed. There's a lot of people that need saving, and they can't do it just with one tour. It needs many, many people. Some have had put, you know, when you I smiled and I said this to Scott McKay. You put Scott McKay, Sasha Stone, and what's his name, the Secret Service guy that exposed all the child stuff.
Robert David Steele.
Robert David Steele. Those three characters.
Is Robert back with us? Are you letting
Sorry?
us listen to something? Is Robert back with us, Charlie? Is that what you're alluding to?
No, I was just saying they were in the same bus.
Okay, I know.
But you could put them in the same town and it would be dangerous. But put them in the same bus. I mean, because you got three very big characters there.
Yeah.
The most important thing that I pointed out when we were in New York in Batavia was the fact that if you don't like a certain truther, for whatever reason, do not under any circumstance criticize them. Just
why would you? Why would you? It's just bad manners, isn't it?
It's bad manners, and what it does is what the deep state and the cabal want you to do, and that's criticize, to divide, because they're being divided. They don't want us to stick together. So you're better off just leaving it and looking for somebody else. And there's now such an array of great people out there to listen to.
Yeah.
You know, when I started, there was just a handful.
In
fact, you know, I was one of the very, very first that's on this journey at this stage in February of 2020. And now you've got go on.
No, there's a whole bunch.
I was going to say you were one of the very first ones I listened to, and it was it was refreshing to hear something other than what was being fed to you every single day. I'm like, oh, okay, so there is hope out there. We're not all just going to,
No. Yeah, we're all right. We'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm going today. Immediately after this, I'm going live on a British radio show. Immediately
Which
after
one?
this, TNT.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Who's on that? Who's the presenter of that?
Darren, somebody or other. But I'm
Is it
going to
one
go
of the digital networks?
So, yeah, it's one of the digital networks.
Okay.
I don't know which.
Cool.
But I'm going on that, and the producer asked me for a short bio, and I just basically put, so I was told about this 10 years ago, then 6 years ago, and then in November 19. And what I was told, I started putting out there in February, March, April, May of 2020, and what I said has come true. I've learned some more information today, which is very, very interesting, about the dismantling of the 5G towers because of how dangerous they are.
Good. That's good news.
It's brilliant news. And I'm going to be cheeky now. And I have a lot of just for change. I have a lot of very, very good Indian and Pakistani friends. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't know that there is no 5G chip in there, even though it says on the front 5G. And the same with the Androids. There is no chip inside it. It's too dangerous. But they've upped the price of the 5G version to make money. And when I confronted Apple about it, they turned around and said, "Oh, no, that's a 5th generation phone." And I went,
sleight of hand.
You've got an answer for everything, haven't you?
Yeah, sleight of hand. You mentioned in the tours, Charlie. So
yes,
obviously we did the first tour with you in Birmingham. That was great. And then me and Rachel did the Reckoning Fest tour in Texas just a week and a half ago. That was put on by Baby Trunk by Chris, which was great.
Yes,
and
I was supposed to be there.
Yeah, it would have been great if you. Yeah, it can't be. Unfortunately, we haven't learned how to kind of multiply ourselves, or maybe we have, but we're not aware of it just yet. But the word tour, so a little bit of numbers. The word tour comes to 74, which also comes to gematria. And you talked about people need saving. The word Jesus is also 74. So if you're going on tour, you're doing the gematria, the numbers, and you're also doing, God's work, doing what Jesus would want us to do. So, like you say, Jesus loves you. Maybe not everyone else does, but Jesus does. So, yeah. And the tour we're doing is with Lewis Holmes. So Mark Atwood's coming over here for as well. So me and Mark are the 2 Brits for it. There might be some others come, before we start. I don't know. But we're starting off in, I think, it's truthtour.net. So you can click it. You can click the link and you can click my name on there and click Tom, and I'll see you on the tour. And maybe you can come over for some of it. I know you're going to be over here. Rachel's hopefully going to get on a couple of the stops. We start off in Sacramento in California, go up to Oregon, then Washington, over to St. Paul's, then into Illinois, New Jersey, Boston, down into Florida. There's a few other stops on the way. We do Arkansas, Alabama, Tucson, Arizona, Texas, Lubbock, and then big one in LA. There's 17 in total, 17 stops in 30 days. So it's going to be busy. We'll be on the road, but it'll be great. So
it's very demanding. It's very demanding, as Rachel knows, from the point of view that everybody wants to see you.
Yes.
Even after New York, I was there with Roger Stone, and Roger has a bill of $35,000 a month in legal fees at the moment. And I decided to give away all of my books, the autobiography books that I'd had with me, and any money that was raised gifted would go to Roger. And it after I'd finished speaking, which is 15 minutes to speak, that's it, took me 2.5 hours to shake everybody's hands and deliver the books. Because everybody, and it's you can't rush them. The security guards were trying to rush them, but they all want to see you. They all want to talk to you.
Yeah.
They want to feel your cheeks to make sure you're not a clone. Because apparently I was killed and I'm a clone. Apparently.
Yeah, they do. They want to meet you, and you can see it in their eyes, and it's a privilege. We're really grateful for it. And like at the Texas one, so 107 was signing books basically all day and all night.
Oh yeah.
And everywhere you'd go,
And the next morning he got up early and went back, and breakfast was sitting there.
Yeah.
I can't.
And people want to give you books and things and take pictures and trinkets and everything, you know. One guy got me about
books in Nashville until 6:30 in the morning.
Well, yeah, can you believe it?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is absolutely crazy, but this is what it calls for. We're in the harvest time, and we're in a very, very special place right now.
Yeah. What's the latest with behind the scenes with quantum? Anything extra you can discuss?
Right. The difficulty I have is because everything is very, very on a knife edge right now, and they're exposing. I think I can tell you they're exposing still some dirty white hats who claim they were white hats. On Monday, which was Labor Day, they got rid of what they believe was the last one. And I had certain intel that didn't come from my normal source. It came from somebody spiritual who had channeled something and sent me something. And rather than just take it at face value, I've got 3 or 4 other spiritual people that I can ask. And I'm not going to read it all, but I'll read the first 4 lines of what was sent to me. Hello, Charlie. This is Archangel Michael. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. We of the angelic realm love you and are grateful for what you've done and your service to humanity during this time. They wanted me to verify what you told them, and they believe that this is accurate. And that's very nice when you get something. There's 2 pages long. That's why I haven't read it all the way through. But that for me was very heartwarming this morning. And this is from trusted people who are connected to the Galactic Federation, who are connected to truth. We all have the ability. It's like we all have the ability to do what Tom does, but Tom's got a calling. Rachel's got a calling. And when you get a calling,
you've got a calling, Charlie.
Sorry?
You've got a calling.
100%, without a shadow of a doubt. I was cool because when I was younger, I was naughty. I've got to pay back now. God said, now's your turn to pay me back. And
well, you resonate with your audience because if you know some of your audience will be naughty. I mean, we'll have naughty in all of our audiences, but you resonate with people like you. You know, that's why they love you, and it's like that's what you need. We all need these different characters that can resonate with people that are like us, because you know, people like each other. They tend to like each other. It's just natural.
I think people are just looking for authentic and genuine people too. We're, like you said, the polished, the pretty news people. You know, we've been tainted by them. We've been jaded by them. So now we're looking for people that are actually just going to tell the truth in an authentic, genuine sort of way.
Real.
And yep.
It is. And if you look at General Flynn and the way that he is as a man, I could never copy him and he could never copy me because it would look fake. But he does his work beautifully. And I do what I've been called to do the way I know best. And that is to keep it authentic. As Rachel just said, keep it. What Rachel's done is exactly the same. What Tom has done is exactly the same. We all have different ways of doing it. The minute we try and copy each other, it doesn't work.
No.
I remember Rachel's calling because it was to do with a specific number that she has on her wall behind her. That's been her number. That.
There you go. 47.
That's exactly right. 47.
Rachel, yeah.
Exactly right. And this is where these things call you. And then you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just said a little prayer yesterday, and I was with my wife. And I just said, you know, Lord, just show me a sign that we're right on the right path yesterday, because everything was quiet. And then we pull up behind a Polish car with the number plate AA 7777 1C.
77. That's Nursel's got 77, hasn't she? We did that.
Nursel is 777 and 1C is 1 Charlie. And
of course, one. Yeah.
And it was just like, well, you can't really argue with that.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that you see, the certain dates you see, the certain numbers you see, it has a meaning. You know, 47, 4 and 7 is 11. 11 is very, very important in this journey of where we go one, we go all. It's part of the same structure, and you start to see everything around it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We're talking of 11. So if you spell the word 11, it comes to 63. And if you do 2 sets of 63, so 63 plus 63, that comes to 126. Comes to 107. Comes to John Kennedy, Sarah Kennedy. John Connor and Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. And Rachel, we were watching this the other night. I was gone about Terminator 2, and I was expecting something to be big on Judgment Day on 129, which is August 29th. And a day after, we were watching, Rachel had not seen the film before, but because Rachel was a writer and really articulate and can, you know, grammar, punctuation, spelling, she boom straight on it. And the title came up, Judgment Day, and there was an E missing out of the word judgment. It was JUDGMENT, and the E had gone, which changes the whole value of Judgment Day. It goes to 124, which is gigawatts, which is New Jersey. And President Trump owns the golf course there in Bedminster, which used to be owned by John DeLorean. And John DeLorean is the guy that had the cars in Back to the Future. So they're pointing all this stuff out all the time. But they basically, the way I was feeling, it was like, okay, there's not been this big thing on Judgment Day, but they have changed the E. They've taken the E out. And Rachel spotted it. And then if going back to 63, so JFK was in 63. We had the chance to go there just 10 days ago. And there's a wonderful guy called Don, who, in my opinion, is a guardian angel for JFK. He's been there 29 years. And this guy's face, he's an older gentleman, but it's kind of, you know, he's quite, I guess, weathered. He looks like he might be homeless. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Don, but I think it's part of his cover. I think he's a pure white hat, even angelic. We did a show with Tara by Janine just recently, and she said, yeah, he's a white hat. And this guy's face is just beamed of light. So anyone that goes to JFK, go and see Don. But he's religiously been there for 29 years, rain or shine, talking to people about JFK. But the spirit of the man is pure. You'd recognize it. You can just see a good soul in him. But 63, which is the way you spell 11, JFK was in 63, and it happened on a Friday, November 29. And Friday also comes to 63. And we know that JFK did the Silver Order 11-11-0-11-110, not long before that happened to him. So everything has been numerically worked out and coded, because I think we're in a matrix. In fact, I know we are, you know. And this is part of the reveal. This is part of the Great Awakening. It's like you wanted a sign and you got your 7771 Charlie. You asked for it and it came. And they can do that, you know. Rachel gets the numbers all the time.
Oh my God.
She's Rachel Numbers. That's a nickname for me. You know.
Rachel Numbers is 139, which comes to journalists, which is what I've always wanted to be, and now it's kind of coming full circle. So it's kind of weird how the universe, like, you might take these other paths, but in the end, you're going to end up right where you were supposed to be all along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to give you some homework, because there are 3 British men who've been handpicked by the White Hats to expose or to red pill the world. The first one was Ricky Gervais with the Oscars.
Yeah,
I've met Ricky.
That was an incredible speech.
Yeah, that was an incredible speech. So on point, opened a massive can of worms. The second British guy is Russell Brand.
I've met him a lot of times, Russell. Yeah.
And he's now opening everything up, red pilling everybody. And of course, the third one is Andrew Tate.
Yeah,
who's teaching men to be men. Men to be men, and not to fall for this feminist woke agenda. That's that, you know. Yes, he's a bit rough around the edges, but so is Russell Brand, and so is Ricky Gervais. They're all a bit rough around the edges, but so is Charlie Ward, a bit rough around the edges. And that's
you have to be.
Exactly.
You have to be. Yep.
Yeah. But I'd be very interested in the numbers of those 3 guys to see what that shows up in the 3 of them, because there are 3 people that have obviously been handpicked, and you can tell they've been picked on purpose because they connect.
You're right. So I know automatically what Russell's are. So Russell is 106, which is red pilling, which is the same as Mike Lindell. So Mike Lindell's been red pilling people, 106. Russell, 2 S's, 2 L's. Russell is 106 red pilling. Brand is, let me just check it again. So Brand is 39, which is Angel. We just spoke about, you know, got 139 Rachel numbers. Talked about Don, who's the angel, guardian angel down at the plaza with JFK. But Russell Brand is 39. And you add that together is 145, which is numerology. And then he's got his show, which is, Under the Skin. Under the Skin comes to 148, which comes to simple gematria, which is the numbers, but it's also Donald J. Trump. So Russell Brand, numerology, Russell, red pilling, 106, and Under the Skin is 148, which is simple gematria, which is Donald J. Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have a look at Ricky. What would Ricky be?
I'll never forget that speech.
Yes.
And the looks of the people, you know, Tom Hanks out there in the crowd, just wide-eyed.
I think from my understanding that the Tom Hanks was the clone even at that stage. I think
really that early on.
Yeah. I heard
and also his brother plays him. Graham Norton let it out. Well, they had to, as they have about 8 years ago. Well, no, it's probably 10 years ago, about 8 years before it started in 2020. They had Tom Hanks on, and on the Graham Norton show, and they're playing a voiceover of him being Woody, and they're making a big joke about it. So that's not me, that's my brother Jim. So Jim would do the voiceovers because this guy looks physically like his brother. Mm-hmm. So people have been saying it's either a clone or it's Jim dressed up like him playing in these movies, you know, and it could have been him at the Oscars. Oh, so this is, this is good, Charlie. Okay, I'm just going to just double check this. So
he's over here adding things.
Gervais is Gervais, isn't it? I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Ricky is 66, which is also Charles, which is woman, which is happy, which is event. So 66 is a super powerful angel number. It's, you know, it's a beautiful number. And then Gervais is 81, which is Tower. It's Tiffany as well, but Tower, and in the tarot cards, Tower is like a kind of, it's a major powerful card. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those together comes to 147. 147 comes to the trump card. So Ricky Gervais is the trump card, one of the trump cards. And the beauty of 147 is that's tied to Rachel's number. So you've got 47 plus the 1 is 48. Tom, we're in Iowa, 48. But 147 is also Times Square, and that's where Rachel was put up on the billboard. So that's when the world knew who she was in New York. Boom, straight up there for the future, you know. And then let's have a look at Andrew Tate. Andrew is 65. Oh, yeah, Andrew Tate's Perfection, 111. New York, 111. I know Andrew's numbers because I did them not long ago. Tate is, Tate is 47, which is John. So 65 plus 47. Sorry, hang on, correction. Let me do this again. T-A-T-E. 46. Tate is 46, which is Best. So Andrew Best. 65 is Andrew. It's also Prince, which is interesting from another side of things. But adding together is 111, perfection. And he's doing a perfect job. So let's see what it all totals up. So you've got 147 plus 145 plus 111, 403, 43. We'll take away the 369 for the Tesla numbers, 34. So the three of them together come to 369, the Tesla numbers, plus 34, which is Grace, which is also DJT, Donald J. Trump. So, yeah, the Three Musketeers. Keep it up, boys.
It's very interesting how people get used for a specific thing and to do certain things. And from my point of view, with the quantum financial system, I know a lot more behind the scenes. In fact, I even told the Insiders Club the other day that there is now 6 billion Q phones already ready for circulation, but the green light needs to come on from the main man, or the main controller, for the want of a better word. And that's on a different level.
Do we know who's made that? Any particular companies that have made it, or is it a new company that's created them?
It was made by the US military.
Okay.
And it's a conspiracy theory who gave them the design.
Oh, was it someone that we both know?
Yeah.
Ah, that's why he's always aloof. Okay, got it.
So somebody that was supposed to have died, who used to be the top man at Apple.
Ah, Steve Jobs. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
And
I've always thought
yeah.
If you look back, he was taken out.
Mm-hmm.
Trump came into power.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's rough around the edges.
Yep, another one that's rough around the edges.
But he gets the job done.
He does. So we'll have to wait and see. Sorry?
No, go on, Charlie. I'm just waiting.
That's a conspiracy theory. And I'll whenever I hear a conspiracy theory, whether it's John F. Kennedy, whether it's Michael Jackson, whether it's Steve Jobs, I'll always say that these are conspiracy theories. Because at the moment, I haven't met any one of the three. I have people, but you have to be careful, who claim that they've met Elvis Presley in America.
We've seen him on tour. We're going to go and see Pastor Bob Joyce on tour.
Yeah. So, exactly. But, you know, everything will be exposed. The light will expose the darkness.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now. The biggest enemy right now is mainstream media. Yeah. Who are maintaining the narrative, knowing that it's a lie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That makes things a lot worse, because that falls into the category of treason.
Yep. And there's no happy ending at the end of treason, is there?
There is no happy ending because, as we know, Donald J. Trump changed the penalty for that, carrying a mandatory death sentence whilst in office.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in a good place right now.
Steve Jobs. So when he would do his presentations for Apple, they're always big major things, weren't they? You know, the new. So get these numbers, Charlie. So maybe, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But Steve is 71, STEVE. Yeah. Steve is 71, which comes to Psych, the first on my channel. Actually, click the link for the t-shirts. We've got these going, hoodies and everything else. It will be down below. But so Steve 71. Also, Lady Diana is 71. Smart is 71. And then Jobs, again, is 46, which is best. The interesting thing about that is that the atomic number for palladium is 46. And we are in a big palladium. We're in a big show, in a big movie. And President Trump was born in 46. But yeah, those together comes to 117, which comes to Trump, comes to Fifth Avenue where the Trump Tower is. But it also comes to Rushmore. So I'm wondering, I don't know, but maybe when the new Q phone comes out, what about a big, massive thing from Steve Jobs there at Mount Rushmore? That'd be pretty cool.
No, but look, we're moving into an amazing time. And I've had the privilege of communicating with many very spiritual people on this journey. And next week, I've got Donna Clement on my show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think the world of. She's absolute. I love her to death. And I can't mention another lady's name, but there's another lady as well who's the daughter of a prophet. And these people at the moment are valuable beyond belief. Their value is way beyond belief because they see things, they understand things clearly. It's not just a guess. These people are fully in contact with their creator, and they have become creative, which is what God wants. You know, we were made in God's image. So God is a creator. He made us creators, except most of us haven't created anything in our lives apart from mayhem because we let somebody else do it.
Yeah.
And if you let somebody else control your destination, your destiny, then don't bitch and moan when you land up in a place you don't want to be. If you want to go somewhere, then make sure you choose the right path to get there.
I think that was part of the programming, was trying to keep our creativity down. So we weren't creative. And I know, like, in the last 5 years, I've always wanted to be a writer and I've always been creative, but it's like every time I go to write something, it was like, oh, if I write that, it might offend this person. If I write this, it might offend it. And it just completely, it took all the passion out of writing for me because I couldn't write anything that I actually wanted to write. So it is so refreshing now to be in this point in history when I can feel confident that, hey, I'm going to put this out there, not looking to offend anyone, but if it offends somebody, then maybe
I've gone the opposite way, Rachel. I enjoy offending people now because they've had it all their own way for far too long. So for me, it's payback.
Wrong.
I go out looking to offend them.
Yeah. And that's the thing with those people that can do things I talk about. You can see around corners, it's like a spiritual periscope. It's like, oh, what's over here? And and it's amazing how many things come to pass, maybe not in the exact way you think, but once it's happened, you're like, that was talked about here, this was talked about here, and this is what makes sense. And the creative element. So I was thinking of the third eye. So third is 59, which is Joker. Eye is 35, which is actually, obviously JFK was 35th president, but you add them together as 94. 94 is Ace of Spades. 94 is November, which is very significant. And 94 is also John. So it's like, okay, you open your third eye, you're using your third eye. There's no coincidence. I don't think that it's Ace of Spades. It's the top card. It's the most spiritual card, which is your third eye, which is your pineal gland, which is where you get these downloads from God, from source. And download is 88, Trump,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also very important that we've got a lot of young children around us that have not been contaminated, but we need to protect them. And none more so than Justin, who's 12 years old. And Justin,
93, Justin.
On regular occasions, communicates with his great-grandmother, who he's never met. She comes into his bedroom and she talks to him and protects him. And he tells us the most important thing as a parent, if you're watching this right now, if your child says that to you, do not put them down. Do not think they're crazy, because this is something incredibly real. And most people, when they're child, tend to have their friend who lives under their bed or whatever, and they were laughed at. Certainly in my generation, were laughed at for, you're crazy, you're mad. Now we need to understand that when you connect within, there are, whether it's a grandma, whether it's a pet or whatever it is, something that you communicate, that God communicates to you through. Learn to embrace that, and then you'll understand. You'll get downloads of information of what's going on, and when you get downloads of information of what's going on, all sense of fear disappears. It's very, very important that you become receptive to the information that's being given to you. And it's very clear with both Tom and Rachel that they've become receptive. Tom sees numbers in his way, Rachel sees numbers in her way. You just see it because of what's been downloaded into you, to see those things.
Yesterday, speaking of kids, my 8-year-old son was asking me questions because I've been kind of gone more than usual, going to events and things like that. And I said, if you ever have questions about where I'm at or what I'm doing or about politics or anything, feel free to ask me. So he asked questions. I talked about, I'm trying to explain this to an 8-year-old. It's kind of difficult. But I said, there's a big group of people and they're not good. And they've taken over some parts of our, so I'm going that route. At the very end of the conversation, he goes, Mom, what if we're wrong though? What if Biden's actually good? I go, I'm so glad you asked that question, because do you think that the Biden supporters are asking, could we be wrong? Could Donald Trump actually be good? And he's like, well, no. And I go, exactly. He's such a thinker. I'm like, that is so amazing that you thought that. And
he's a 27-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Tom's met him now.
You know what, though? This is the point I made earlier about our children. We underestimate how clever they are. We underestimate it because of what we've been taught. These kids get it. They get it straight away. And this is why it's so important for the bad guys to keep them masked. So they've got control over them, because they're going to lose control of a whole generation. And this is why it's been done. And that just absolutely rams it down as to what I said. An 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, they get it. They get it. And it's lovely. We think they're smart, but they are. They get it. They haven't been contaminated like we do. They're connected to their source, and they haven't yet outsourced that control to other people.
Yeah.
You know, we did research the other day. 98% of children at the age of 4 years old are bordering on genius. 98% of children at 4 years old classified legally as bordering on genius. When they finish their education at 25 years old, including university, it completely reverses. Only 2% are classified as geniuses. That tells you everything you need to know about what school does to children.
Yeah. I was just proud of him for thinking. I mean, the mother in me and the patriot in me is like, how could you even think that? But I was also, as quickly as I thought that, I thought, wow, that's a profound question, that he's actually thinking on the other side and trying to put himself in the other person's shoe. And I said, I ask myself that all the time, and that's what helps keep me in check and helps make sure that I'm, you know, doing enough research. So the future is going to be bright if we have kids like your son, Charlie, that are, you know, not being indoctrinated, not closed-minded, and they're thinkers.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's lovely to catch up with you. I've got to hop on to another show now, but it's great to see you both, and I wish you both so much love and support for the tour that you're doing in America. Send my love to all of your audience out there, because we have a huge audience there. It's when you stand there in front of them, it's truly humbling, but it gives you such a lift for 2.5 years of hard work. It's so uplifting just to look there and to see how you've changed people's lives. I had at least 4 or 5 women who just burst into tears when they saw me, just with relief that you're there. It's almost like a long lost dad that disappeared. He'd been away in the military, serving, fighting for his country, and he's come back home, and that release of energy is very, very touching. And I had one particular guy. In fact, I was with you, I think, Rachel, the blind guy that we met in Virginia Beach, and that just touched my soul. You know, he just said, "You saved my life," and he's blind. You know,
for some people, you became that long lost dad. Maybe they had a falling out. A lot of people have lost a lot of family members and friends, so it is personal. Yeah.
Well, we can finish on a happy note. This is that the son that decided to throw me under the bus and tell me that I was all this, that, and the other, and did 3 videos telling the world. He's got fined £8,000 for not doing his PCR test correctly.
Oh no.
Karma's a wonderful bitch, isn't it?
Did he ask Dad to pay for it?
No. He's a bit embarrassed now. So, but you know, what goes around comes around.
It'll come around. Yeah.
All right, guys.
You mentioned downloads, Charlie. I'll just do this in 10 seconds.
Yes.
So downloads is 107, and so there's a lot of connotation to that, which is also currency, which is, you know, one of your specialities. It's also military. It's also trumps. It's also 20, and we went through the year of 2020 when this all visually started. It's also Superman, and it's also quantum. So downloads 107 is also quantum, and it's also Aquarius, and we're in the age of Aquarius now, the 1,000 years of peace, the golden age, the millennium, you know, and beyond. So, all right, buddy, God bless you. We'll put the website link up, and we'll see you soon.
Perfect. Lots of love.
Cheers, Charlie. Take care. Bye.